Imagine this, a group of experienced hikers embarking on a journey across the rugged, snow-covered Ural Mountains in Soviet Russia. They're prepared for the worst, a long, cold trek in one of the most remote parts of the world. But what happened next is anything but ordinary. These hikers would never return from their expedition, and what was discovered in the aftermath left the world in shock and confusion. This is the story of the Dyatlov Pass incident, one of the most chilling and baffling mysteries in modern history. The Dyatlov Pass incident has intrigued and haunted people for decades. Was it an avalanche, a wild animal attack, or something far more sinister? What happened on that fateful night? And why has the mystery remained unsolved for over 60 years? Join us as we dig into the details of one of the most unsettling and enduring unsolved mysteries in history, the Dyatlov Pass incident. The hikers. Who were they? To understand the Dyatlov Pass incident, we need to start with the hikers themselves. The group, led by Igor Dyatlov, consisted of 9 experienced trekkers. They were all students and graduates from the Ural Polytechnic Institute in Sverdlovsk, modern-day Yekaterinburg, and they were well-versed in navigating the harsh conditions of the Soviet wilderness. The group's objective was to hike through the Ural Mountains, a journey that would take them through remote and difficult terrain. They planned to reach the Otiortan mountain, then loop back to their starting point. It was supposed to be an adventure, a challenge that these experienced hikers were more than capable of handling. But something went terribly wrong. The journey begins, a typical start. The hikers set off on their journey on February 1st, 1959, excited to face the challenge ahead. They were well prepared, carrying food, clothing, and equipment for the trip. Their goal was to reach the top of Otiortan, a mountain that would test their limits. They were expected to return by February 12th, but they never made it back. Days passed, and when the hikers failed to send a telegram to notify their families of their safe return, concern began to grow. On February 20th, after several days of silence, the authorities launched a search. What they found in the mountains would forever alter the course of history and leave more questions than answers. The discovery, a gruesome scene. On February 26th, 1959, the bodies of the hikers were discovered in a ravine near the Dyatlov Pass. What the search team found was horrifying. The hikers' tent had been slashed open from the inside, as if they had been forced to escape in a hurry. The scene was puzzling. The hikers' clothes and personal belongings were abandoned in the tent, and they had fled into the cold night without shoes or proper clothing. The hikers' bodies were found scattered over a wide area, some in their underwear, others in a state of complete disarray. 3 of the hikers were found in a forest, some distance away from the tent. They had severe injuries, including broken ribs and fractured skulls, but there were no signs of a struggle. 2 others were found near the tent, their clothes and belongings partially burned in a makeshift campfire. The remaining 4 bodies were found in a ravine at the bottom of a slope, partially buried in snow. Their injuries were more disturbing. One of the bodies had its eyes removed, while another had its tongue missing. There were also reports that some of the bodies had radiation traces on their clothing. This left investigators with more questions than answers. The medical examinations. What did the autopsies reveal? The autopsies revealed even more unsettling details. While most of the hikers had died from hypothermia, some of the injuries were not consistent with exposure to the cold. Several of the hikers had internal injuries, such as fractured skulls and broken ribs, which would usually suggest some form of blunt force trauma. Yet there was no external damage, no signs of violence. Some of the bodies appeared to have been bluntly hit with force from the front, suggesting a violent impact, but there were no marks on their skin, no bruising or cuts. One of the hikers, Lyudmila Dubinina, had her eyes and tongue removed, and this detail sparked even more questions. It was as if some kind of ritualistic or mysterious force had been involved. Over the years, the Dyatlov Pass incident has been the subject of intense speculation, and countless theories have emerged to explain the deaths of these 9 hikers. Some were more logical, others were downright bizarre. Let's look at some of the most popular theories. The most widely accepted theory is that the hikers were victims of an avalanche. Some believe that the group was caught in an avalanche, which caused them to panic and flee the tent in the dead of night. This theory is supported by the position of the bodies and the fact that some of the hikers were found with injuries consistent with blunt force trauma. But here's the thing. No avalanche was recorded in the area that night. Additionally, experts argue that the terrain, the location of the bodies, and the lack of typical avalanche signs cast doubt on this theory. Some believe that the trauma could have been caused by something more unnatural, perhaps a weapon or a fall. Another theory suggests that the hikers may have been caught in a military test gone wrong. Some believe the hikers could have accidentally stumbled upon a Soviet military exercise. This would explain some of the strange injuries and the lack of a clear cause of death. Reports surfaced that there had been military activities in the area at the time, including testing of new weapons or explosives. Some speculate that the hikers were exposed to a chemical or radioactive substance, causing their injuries. But while this theory remains popular with conspiracy theorists, there is little solid evidence to back it up. One of the more bizarre theories involves a creature often associated with the unknown, the Yeti. Some believe the hikers may have been attacked by a wild animal, possibly a Yeti or some other large predator, but there is no evidence to support this. The lack of tracks or signs of animal attacks leaves this theory as pure speculation. A theory that emerged years after the incident suggests that the hikers may have unknowingly been part of a psychedelic experiment. Some claim that they were exposed to a chemical agent that caused hallucinations and panic. While the idea of a secret government experiment is intriguing, there's no evidence of any such testing being conducted in the area. The official conclusion: what do we know? After years of investigation and several attempts to explain the incident, the official Soviet investigation into the Dyatlov Pass deaths concluded in 1959 with the explanation of a compelling force being responsible for the tragedy. However, the investigation failed to clarify what exactly that force was, leaving the mystery open-ended. The Soviet Union closed the case, citing an avalanche as the primary cause. However, as more theories emerged and more research was done, questions continued to linger. In recent years, Russian authorities have reopened the case a few times, but even with modern technology, they have yet to definitively explain what happened. The legacy, the Dyatlov Pass, mystery endures. Today, Dyatlov Pass is a tourist destination for many who are fascinated by the mystery. People visit the site to try and uncover the truth for themselves, hiking the same paths and retracing the steps of the ill-fated hikers. Yet, the mystery remains unsolved, and no clear answers have emerged. The incident has inspired numerous documentaries, books, and films, each offering new perspectives and theories. But the truth behind the Dyatlov Pass incident continues to elude us. Was it an avalanche, military testing, a Yeti attack, or something far stranger? The Dyatlov Pass incident is a reminder that sometimes, even with all our advances in science and technology, some mysteries remain as elusive as the snow itself. What do you think happened at Dyatlov Pass? Could it have been an avalanche? Or was there something more sinister at play? Share your thoughts and theories in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more deep dives into history's greatest mysteries. Until next time, keep questioning the world around you. The truth may be just beyond the horizon.